Shloka 21. Atma cannot be an object of knowledge. How can we arrive at the determination of Brahman? It can be experienced or practiced by this method. Whatever are perceived as objects, they have no consciousness. They have mere existence, no knowledge of their existence. Our mind, body, intellect are objects because we know them as objects. Swamiji referred to the Tattva Bodha text where Aham and Mama were discussed, me and mine. I am different from what is mine. Mine is connected to me, so it cannot be me. This is the logic used there, which can be applied here too. Where there is knowledge, that is me, and where there is no knowledge, that is not me. That deepest understanding of that awareness or that pure consciousness, which is attributeless, is Brahman. Shloka 22 talks of experiencing of consciousness. Swamiji made a reference to Shloka 20. By dismissing the five koshas, by seeing the five koshas are without consciousness, without awareness, what is left is the awareness, the sakshi or witness. Swamiji gave the example of when we do not remember something, there is an awareness that we do not remember. That is the witness, the sakshi that remains. That is the real self or pure consciousness. In meditation, we must dismiss the five koshas and remain in the self. Therefore, if there is no perceivable object, it does not mean non-existence. As has already been discussed earlier, non-existence cannot be attributed to the self. Existence cannot be denied. The deep sleep experience can be had in the waking state if we know how to achieve the Sakshi Bodha by dismissing the five koshas. Our real nature is unchangeable awareness. The Atma is Asanga, Nitya, Shuddha, Mukta, Buddha, beyond all functions and actions. Shloka 23 asks, one can deny all others, but how can one deny oneself? What cannot be denied cannot die, cannot be killed, cannot be separated. One's self-existence is not an object of argument. By doubting one's existence, one is proving one's existence. The self is consciousness. This is often mistaken to mean the self possesses consciousness. We make the common mistake of objectifying consciousness or God, just as we objectify everything in order to know them. Shloka 24 says, except through delusion, no one can believe in one's own non-existence. The Shruti thus shows the falsity of denying one's own existence. Swamiji made a reference to the Kathopanishad, the last chapter, which says, stop doubting your existence. Shloka 25 quotes from the Shruti, the Taittiriya Upanishad. He who believes Brahman to be non-existent becomes non-existent himself. The self can never be an object of knowledge. One must accept one's own existence as a fact. We have to be in Sat-Chit Ananda as a Jivan Mukta by removing all misidentification, then all one's problems will be solved. One must try to separate all that is happening to one's body and mind. Shloka 26 says the self cannot be characterized. Swamiji showed us the play of words in the shloka and the beauty of the Sanskrit language. The self is unlike this, unlike that. Only an object can be described. The self is indescribable and not comparable. The definition of something is possible only with an attribution or if there is a comparison. Shloka 27 further discusses this topic. An object which the senses can perceive is described as like this. An object beyond the range of perception of the senses is like that. But the subject or the seer, the sakshi, cannot be the object of sense organs, as it is the very self, always there, oneself. It is immediate, aparoksha. Without mediation, no definition is possible. Hari Om.
स्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नमस्ते शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलास महामोह ग्राहग्रासैक कर्मणे श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। नारायण। ओम नमो नारायण। So Atma is Aparoksha. So there is no mediation with the knowledge of Atma and the Atma itself. So that was the subject. So Vishayi na aksha vishayaha swatvad nasya parokshata. So it is always one with us. So there is no parokshata. It cannot be away from us. So when it is not away from us, not different from us, it cannot be known, it cannot be an object. All the objects what we experience is different from us. The objects are connected to us, but Atma cannot be different from us. That was the subject we discussed. We will continue with this in the same depth of discussion. The next sloka, 28th sloka. अवेद्योऽप्यपरोक्षोऽतः स्वप्रकाशो भवत्ययम् सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं चेत्यस्तीह ब्रह्मलक्षणम्. When we say Atma is not an object, people may doubt, so then there is no knowledge of Atma. One cannot know Atma. If it cannot be made an object, how can we say we know Atma? So now immediately here the Mahaswamiji is clearing that Avedyo api aparoksho ataha. It's just opposite. Though it is Avedya, though it is not an object of knowledge. So Avedya means it is not fit to be known. Not fit to be known. It cannot be known. Though this is the situation, therefore we always think about Atma as an object. So we are not getting Atma. We are not experiencing it because our mind thinks that we have to achieve it. We have to contemplate on it. So somehow it become no different from us. It cannot be like that. Avedya. But aparoksho ataha. Though it is avedya, but it is aparoksha as well. Aparoksha means, as we all discussed, it is without medium. There is no need of any medium, any instrument, any means to know Atma. That is something very special in regard with Atma. No, Atma doesn't need any means, any sadhana to know it. So this is why even Vedanta itself says, this Vedanta will not bring Atma's experience. Because even Vedanta cannot mediate Atma. Vedanta cannot be a mediator for Atma. Then what does Vedanta do? So Vedanta brings all the connected informations and clear all the doubt and make your mind ready and eligible for Atma's experience. Else you cannot find Atma. Only in Vedanta you can find it. So Vedanta is the perfect knowledge system which discusses the deepest experience of ourselves. So no other knowledge system has this speciality. But even then, Vedanta cannot bring you Atma. So Vedanta cannot make you experience Atma. It cannot no play as a mediator and bring Atma. So therefore, Avedya though Aparoksha. So which is Aparoksha? Whatever the object or experience is Aparoksha, you don't need any mediation there. For instance, we have the experience of deep sleep. Now just go into deep sleep and think, what is the mediation there? Any instrument, any sense organs or mind or intellect is working there? No. So in deep sleep, there is no mediation. You have the direct experience of Atma. So it is the highest experience in this empirical world. Because you go beyond all this process of mediation or all this thought process. Now you don't remember even who are you. So that is the Aparokshata. So this deep sleep is a direct instance, we can say, that how Atma is directly experienced. Now that is the reason why we don't remember what is happening there. Because your mind is not there as a mediator. If mind would have been there, then it would remember what is happening there, what happened there. So mind is not there, so it cannot remember. Intellect cannot remember, recollect what happened there. So by the experience, you have a reflection that I was there and I was experiencing this. So you remember that much, that's all. So we say for the sake of understanding, we bring that very, very subtle form of mind, intellect was there, so we could remember. Otherwise, we can't remember. So this we bring there. But our experience there is we don't remember all these mental activities, so there is no mediation. That is aparokshata. Atah swaprakasho bhavatyayam. So therefore, you see, he is applying another logic, adding to it. Here he says, since it is aparoksha, since it is without a mediation, we have to accept that it is swaprakasha, because it is not getting prakasha, knowledge, help, light from any other source. So, swaprakasho bhavatyayam. The self-knowledge is knowledge of the self. Now, self-knowledge, when we say, we always think that self, last time also I told you this, we think self-knowledge means knowledge of the self. That is the compound we make. Self-knowledge means knowledge of the self. No, we know many things. So we understand like that. Knowledge of the book, knowledge of the water, knowledge of the food, knowledge of this, knowledge of that. So whenever we say knowledge, so we bring the knowledge of something. Similarly, when we say self-knowledge, we attribute knowledge of the self. This of the self is a problem. Of the self, when we say, which is showing that that compound is showing a connection there. Grammatically, if something is of that, of this of is a connection, shows the connection of something. So when we remove of, we can't understand. So for the better understanding, we have to apply of. No, of the or knowledge of that, knowledge of this, so and so, like that. But in the case of Atma, we can't say this. Even about our names and other thing, I say this is my name. If it, what does it mean? The name of me is my name. I am the holder of that name, owner of that name. So that is the meaning of that. Similarly, when we say self-knowledge, all the Vedanta students, they feel this, and when they talk, we say we need the knowledge of self. Self-knowledge means of the self. We don't have that. Now we have to achieve the self-knowledge. But that is the problem here. We should not understand self-knowledge, knowledge of the self. It means self is something different, knowledge is something different. Here it is not like that. This is here, self-knowledge means not of the knowledge or by the knowledge. It is self itself. Knowledge is self. So if you want to say, we can say, we want to get self-knowledge, the knowledge itself is self, or self is knowledge. This is the connection there. Atma Jnanam. In Sanskrit, we say, it is easy for me to say in Sanskrit, because Atma Jnanam, when we say in Sanskrit, Atmanaha Jnanam, the knowledge of self, we don't do that. It means Atma cha Jnanam cha. Atma itself is knowledge. We call it this compound as Karmadharya. So it means this is not no difference. It's the same. So that is the right understanding of self. So Swaprakashaha. So no need for any other proof of knowledge, because it is Swaprakasha. For other knowledges, other apprehensions, comprehensions, we need the proof for that. But for self-knowledge, we never need a proof. So no need for any proof. Proof means mediation. Pramana, mediation. We need some mediation. We need some proof to make it that what I know is true. So there is no need for proof. So why satyam jnanam anantam chetyasti ha brahma lakshanam. The Shruti says Atma is Brahma. Satyam jnanam anantam cha. So we already know all this. Satyam, jnanam and ananta. Existence, consciousness and infinite. Ananda. So iti Brahma lakshanam. This is the indications of Brahma. Lakshanam. So this, knowing this, now again we say Satyam Jnanam Anandam. These are the indications of Brahma. Then what happens? We say this is also a knowledge. This is our apprehension as Brahman. That's what we understand. But we can say, at most we can say is, it is an insight of Brahman. It is an insight of Brahman or intuition of Brahman. So insight or intuition, the difference is, it's like little different from knowledge. It is more deep. When we say knowledge and when we say intuition and knowledge is little different. The depth of that is different. And knowledge is very formatic and very clear. But intuition is not clear. You know, but you are not knowing. You know what you know. But here in intuition, you don't know what you know. So this is that little different. But the intuition leads to formation of knowledge or thought process later in some conditions. And in another conditions, it doesn't need any formation of thought process. Intuition directly works. So that is the difference between the practical mind, conscious mind, and subconscious mind, and intuitive mind. The intuitive mind doesn't need any special condition to work. It works without the concern of practical mind. It means conscious mind. It doesn't ask and wait for it. So that is a higher level of knowledge. We all have this. We all what you say, you experience this. Even in our day-to-day life, we have many a time we experience this intuitive knowledge. People think intuition only very high spiritual people or practitioners can get. No. Intuition is a function of brain. It's a part of brain. All living beings they have this intuitive knowledge. Not only human beings, but also other living beings, other no, like all other living beings, they have this. But unfortunately, they are not aware about that, and they cannot develop it. But we can develop it. We can connect ourselves with that. If you practice that, your whole life will change, because intuitive knowledge cannot go wrong. That's the speciality of intuitive knowledge. Your logical knowledge and practical knowledge, conscious mind can go wrong. It goes wrong many a time. But intuitive knowledge never. So it's a flash like thing. The first sight it says, and if you accept it, it's done. If you don't accept it, you apply anything else, then it cannot work. So therefore the problem is the one ego is no, ego comes in between. If you are very dependent on your pride and ego and your status, your manners, social manners, this, that, all this. So if your mind is concerned and conditioned with all this, the intuition cannot work, and you will not accept intuition. So intuition fails. So when you don't accept intuition for a long time or repeatedly, the intuition will not give you suggestion. This is a blunder happening in our life. We have this divine intuitive mind, and which can give you the direct knowledge of everything very correctly, but unfortunately we don't accept it because of all our social conditions. We are bound in that. So now, even though intuition works, if you don't accept it, it stop giving suggestion, or you will not care for that. You will just don't care for that. That is valuable knowledge you get directly from your deeper mind. Anyway, that is the form of knowledge which has no conditioning. All we can say is very least conditioned. The conscious mind or the practical mind, the logical mind, rational mind is completely conditioned. And less conditioned subconscious mind, and least conditioned intuitive mind. There is no maybe 0.5 some condition, we can little bit condition we can say, but it doesn't accept condition. So therefore it is very interesting. And the yoga sutra, yoga, the school of Raja Yoga, school of Patanjali Yoga, school of yoga, and all those, they practice this mind, intuitive mind techniques. So that is what we can say. This is like the insight on Brahma, that we say how we can experience Brahma. How would be that experience of Brahma? That is Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam. Now, here is extending this discussion with that, saying that we already have discussed much on Satyam, Jnanam, and we will discuss more on other points. Satyatvam badharahityam jagad badhaika sakshinaha badhak kim sakshiko bruhi natva sakshika ishyate. So in this point of discussion, Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji brings the concept aspect of Sakshi. Sakshi means witness consciousness. So this Sakshi also doesn't need any mediation. Sakshi have the direct knowledge. There is no need of mediation. That is the speciality of Sakshi. Witness consciousness. So why we say witness consciousness? Because in English, there is no word for Sakshi in English. So the concept of Sakshi in Vedanta cannot be translated in English, because in the English language, that culture of English language has no concept of this Sakshitva. So therefore, the idea is not there. It cannot be said. So the maximum we can say is witness or observer, or now we can say witness consciousness. The pure consciousness seems to be a witness of what is happening in the mind. So the observation of mind in we can say in that tradition, we call it as Sakshi, is not very well known in West or in Western philosophy. So therefore, is little different in this concept. So we have the observation, we have as an observer of mind, intellect, ego, everything. So that is called Sakshi. So Sakshi is never absent. That is another special quality of Sakshi. Sakshi is never absent. But if object is not there, it will not witness. If object is there in the mind, it will witness. And Sakshi is not the witness of outside objects. We should remember this. Mostly when we say Sakshi means Sakshi knows outside, inside, all around. No. Sakshi is only witnessing what is happening in your mind and intellect. That's all. Mind, what you know, what you don't know. And intellect, we just say the memory or what I remember or not remember. So this much Sakshi can witness. Sakshi cannot witness what is happening outside. The outside things are known by sense organs, sensations, and those sensations are informations of mind. So mind is the collector of those informations. Or we can say mind is the information maker. So mind is making all these sense information, sensual informations. So whatever connected to the sense organs. So mind is the maker of all the sensual informations. So this we experience, that is the knowledge, what we call it as in knowledge. Now what mind has received, which is already in the mind, that is the object of observer or Sakshi. So this is the second step. First step, outside objects, sense organs, together with mind. So this is one group. Sense organs together with mind. Okay. And that is one group. Okay. So that is what we call it as knowledge and information. The whole day, 24 hours into 7, we experience this group of information, the mind plus sense organs and objects. So mind plus sense organs plus objects. This is our life. So we apply something and something we reserve for memory. So what is reserved for memory will come later, and then we continue with the experience. So this is like a circle. So you receive something, and mind make those information and send to the memory and keep it for some time, and then you will recollect it, and like last day, what you did yesterday, the same thing you will repeat next day. You started your day with no bed tea or bed coffee, tomorrow also we will do the same. So this one after another, it goes till you sleep. So these are the this is what we call it as life. It is very, very difficult to change anything out of it, because mind is easy with dealing with all this, because it is already practiced. Mind has no work, extra work to change it. If you try to change, mind says, no, no, why you are giving extra work to me? I don't want to change. What is the problem? Everything is okay, everything is fine. You continue with that. Why you are going after this Vedanta, Pancadashi, all these unnecessary things is too much load for me, and with extra work, I don't need it. You go to office and do and earn and eat and sleep. That's all. So that is better for you. That is what mind suggests, because mind is easy with this. Easy for work for that. There is no work at all. It's all fixed, programmed, and just you follow it. Then what happened? When we regularly do the same thing for a long time, minds now after that it get bored, because mind is not getting any work. It's like a workaholic person sitting in a room, who has no work to do. He will be disturbed with mind, no? So similarly, the mind also sometimes get bored with that. So then it says, okay, just for fun, we change something, and then you change. Sometimes you change your food. Sometimes you change your no room, and sometimes change your vehicle or something, just to get something, no, some new information, some formation. That's all. And after working a same area of work or same office, same table, after some time you like to get promotion, at least no so, small promotion, some work change. So this is needed. So this is how our life goes. Now there is no second part. The second information, like first information, as I said, mind plus sense organs plus objects. Okay, that is what the life all about. Now the second part is what is there in the mind. So you have no connection with other side of other outside objects. So you have only inside objects. So you like to sit in one place and see what is happening in your mind. So you will just observe the mind's function, thought process. So whatever mind brings, you like to see that and experience, and no, just count that or whatever. So this is what is called observing the witness as sakshi. So what is happening in the mind? Now, when you observe that observation, it seems to be with mind, but there is an observer beyond mind. So that observer has no mediation. There is no need for any other conditions. So that is what is called sakshi. So satyatvam badharahityam jagat badhaika sakshinaha. Now what is satyatvam? What is existence, pure existence? That is which cannot be negated. Badharahityam. Which cannot be contradicted. So badharahityam. So there is no contradiction in all three periods of time. So which cannot be contradicted or negated in all three periods of time, past, present, future. So that is called truth. That is called reality. That is called Satyam. That is what is Atma Brahma. So Satyatvam Badharahityam. He said in just one word. The Satyatvam means it cannot be denied, objected, contradicted. Okay, so that is what we call Trikala Badhidatvam. Trikala Badhidatvam Satyatvam. In Sanskrit we say is Trikala Badhidatvam Satyatvam. So that which cannot be contradicted, objected in three periods of time. That is truth. Now that's okay. Jagat Badhaika Sakshinaha. Now you remove all this, what is happening, you can negate all this Jagat, the all creation. If you want to negate, you can negate. So, but Badha Eka Sakshinaha, you cannot negate the negation or the negator. Or we can say witness of that negation. So you are negating the world, you are negating the objects outside, but you can't negate the witness of the negation, the knower of the negation. You can't negate the negator, that's all. So Jagat Badhega Sakshina, that is how we experience Sakshi. Sakshi is not the state of knowledge. You don't think that Sakshi is a state of consciousness. No. Sakshi is not identified with any other qualification. Sakshi cannot be attributed or identified with any other qualification than consciousness. So if you attribute anything, then that's not Sakshi. Because Sakshi is unattributed, unconditioned consciousness. So therefore, it cannot be changed. If you put any condition, you can change it. So Sakshi, therefore, you cannot change the Sakshi. That is the reason whatever Sakshi knows the truth. Because it is unconditioned. It is not conditioned by the outside condition or any other conditions. Desha Kala, the condition of time, condition of space, condition of situation, condition of conditions. No, nothing. It's beyond all those. Therefore, if you negate, okay, negation if you, whatever you negate with some reasons. So we can say negation have some reasons. Negation is with reason. Or there is a mediation for negation, reason for negation, object for negation. But the witness of negation is always there, so it cannot be negated. Okay, so Badha Kim Sakshi Go Bruhi. He says if you negate the negator, then who will know the negation of that negation? So you are negating the negation, that's okay. But if you negate the negator as the Sakshi consciousness, then who will know that the negator is negated? No, then you can't say it is negated. So you must know that the negator is negated. So you don't know if you can, how can you say it is negated? Just think about it, it's interesting. Therefore, at the end of all negation, neti neti, we will see in, after the 36 sloka, 33, 34 sloka, the end of all negation, at the peak of all of negation, we will experience the ultimate negator, the witness of negation as Sakshi. That is our nature. You see, there is a simple trick, or I can say a simple logic. It is very simple, but we never care about it. What is that? Is whatever mind can imagine. People say imagination, what we imagine many things, but it has no existence. That is what normally we say. Even brain science say that. Imagination is all, most of the imaginations are false. That's what the we study, and we all know that people can imagine anything. There is no rule or condition or end for imagination. It's endless imagination, or whatever you want to imagine. But one thing here, you see, even in those imaginations that you normally see no meaning in them, but there is something. There is something, some potentiality, something is there. Why? Because brain cannot imagine what is not touched or not there in the brain. This is the simple theory. Your mobile or computer or any software program cannot make a form which is not feeded in any form. Without a form, it cannot imagine, it cannot make. So you play with mobile, you play with in many different playing things are there, or the Photoshop and all those are there. But whatever we do, it has a program, and that program has this provision. Then only you can do that. If that program have no provision for that, no information for that, then you can't do. You cannot just do anything like that. Right? You got the point? Then apply with the mind. The mind also has the same. You cannot imagine a form or action or anything which is not connected to mind, totally unconnected, which is not there in any form in the mind. It cannot be done. It cannot be imagined. Therefore, whatever mind, you see, before doing anything, before doing you're doing anything, or a small thing or big thing, you think about that, plan it, and then go for the action. Whatever inventions we have today with science and other things, those all invention came from imagination. Without imagination, it cannot come. If you cannot imagine, how can you invent? So there is some connection with that. So what we say in Vedanta or in Sankhya philosophy as well, we say whatever you imagine, it can be invented. It can be a knowledge because it is there in the creation. If something is there in your mind, it means it is there. So that's all. Where it is, when it is, it doesn't, we can't say it, but it is there. So there is, why I am saying this satyatvam and the negation thing, badha kim sakshiko bruhi natu asakshika ishyate. So when we negate, we think that is gone, we separated it. That is what we think. But as long as you know that I negated this, it's there. As long as you remember your enemy, that enemy is there in you. It's a part of you. It may not be like a friend, but it's there with you as your part. Like a friend. A friend, you remember a friend always, so you remember your enemy also. So the enemy and friend both are there in the mind. They are capturing the same space in your mind. Can you think that? No, you think, oh no, I don't like my enemy. Why I should give him a space in my mind? But it's not possible. As long as you remember the enemy, he will get the space in your mind. You can't avoid. So this is interesting. This is how brain works. Now you see, we say Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So now I am going to make a statement for today that you will get an interesting meditation techniques from this, as I said. So you remember what I just now discussed. So whatever you remember, it is there in you. Whatever you imagine, there is some clue, some potency, some connection, some software in your mind connected to that. Otherwise, it cannot come to you as even as an imagination. Right? Then, how can you imagine endlessness, anantata, infinite, unless there is a potentiality of endlessness in us? If you think, I know Brahman, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, it means it is in you. People say endlessness cannot be known. That is right. But what I am trying to say, if you can imagine, or if you can say, I know what is endlessness is, you think that I understand. Yes, I understand what is endlessness, infinite. Right? This is what you say. Then what your brain says is, no, you don't worry, I know it. It is there. And infinite is there. Infinite can be there. Endlessness can be there. So your brain accepts it. It's very interesting. Now, how brain accept it without the potentiality, without a clue, without a connection of that? So it means definitely brain has a space for or inkling for that. So brain has an inkling of that potentiality, of that endlessness. So there is some program, something is connected, is very deep, and you can say the innermost level of your brain function. So it is very difficult to recollect and bring, but it can be known. Infinite can be known. In mathematics, we study with infinite. In science, it is there. Everywhere it is there. So it means there is a hope, there is a potentiality of that. Why I use the potentiality is there is no proper word for that, how we collect, or why we, in other words, we should say there is a program, like a software program, or something is fed in that. It's connected to this infinity, right? So if you say, okay, for the sake of understanding, we take for granted that infinity is there in us, right? Now, where this infinity can be, if the infinity is there, if we know infinity, there is an apprehension of infinity in us, then it must be there in us. Then, if it is there, where it can be? Can it be connected with the body? The infinity can be connected with the body? No, because body cannot be said as infinite. It's impossible. Can we connect the infinity with the prana, the vital force, oxygen? No. We know oxygen is not infinite. Oxygen is only there in the lower part of atmosphere. So it is not infinite. It cannot be. So, okay. So then you take the mind. Mind is infinite? No, mind is finite. We know it very well that my mind is finite. Mind has limited knowledge. It says I can't take anything as infinite. So that mind cannot be connected with infinite. Okay, then what about intellect? The same. But one thing is interesting, in Sankhya philosophy, in Vedanta also, in one accept when we call it as Hiranyagarbha and the universal mind, no, we say it, but Sankhya clearly says intellect as buddhi is infinite. It has all infinite sources. So in that theory of one mind, universal mind, what we say as that all-pervading universal mind, one mind, the single mind. In that, we call it as Hiranyagarbha, omnipresent mind or omnipresent intellect. So that intelligence has all the knowledge. So it is infinite. They say like that. But as far the individual intellect is concerned, it's not infinite. So we don't take it, or we never think our mind or intellect is infinite, right? So then what left? Ego cannot be infinite. Ego is not infinite. We know we want to make ego infinite, right? But it's not possible. Everywhere our ego is hurt, ego is broken. No, we have all the problems. So we are trying to make it more wider and wider and vaster and vaster, but it's not happening. So it is limited. Yeah. Now you see, the body, mind, all these are not connected with infinite, or we are unable to connect all these to infinite. Now, what is left? Only Atma is left. So, though the intellect is not saying, the buddhi is not saying that Atma is infinite, but buddhi says, I know infinite. because buddhi is so much connected, so near to Atma. So there is a reflection of that infinite in the intellect. So it says, I know, but I cannot say what it is, but I know the infinite, that potentiality is there. There is a hope for endlessness. There is a hope for infinite. So you meditate on this. It's very interesting how our mind, even the mind, is connected to Atma in this knowledge, this apprehension, this knowledge, this experience is connected with uh, mind, which is the reflection of Atma. Now you see, unfortunately, we are not very clear about what is infinite. We are trying to make our ego as individuality, as personality, as infinite. We want to live forever. We want to be everywhere. We want to get all the knowledge as possible. We want to get all the happiness possible. We want to get everything infinite. Now you say you don't know what is infinite, but if you see in your life, your real desires, you have desires. How many desires you have? Infinite, endless. Every day you have new desire and new. We don't know where it is going, and it has no end. So it is also infinite. Now you want to make your mind infinite, intellect infinite, ego as personality infinite, everything infinite. From where the idea comes? Because you are infinite. So unfortunately, that clarity is not there. That the Vedanta is trying to bring that clarity. You see, you are thinking about this infinite being. This infinite being is yourself, only you. Your ego and the intellect and all others objects cannot be infinite. So that is this theory of potentiality of all the forms, all the imaginations. So nothing is wrong. Everything is right. But something is more clear, something is less clear, something is unclear. So obviously we have these confusions every day. What is clear, what is not clear, and what is finite, what is infinite. So we are unable to distinguish all this. So we have fear, we have all these problems. So this is what the next sloka is talking about. Apaniteshu murteshu hyamurtam shishyate viyat shakyeshu badhiteshvande shishyate yattadeva tat. Apaniteshu murteshu. Okay. Apaniteshu murteshu is a like rejection process, removing process. So now, as I said, if you want experience the self beyond all this, take this method as rejection, removal process. Okay. So apanideshu murteshu hyamurtam shishyade viyat. When all forms are eliminated, rejected, removed, the formless empty space remains. So that is what we study in our physics, in science, right? when there is no form, when there is no creation, the space left back. So apaniteshu murteshu, murta means forms, different kinds of form, various forms. So all those forms are removed, now eliminated. Then amurtam shishyadeviyat, the formless. Formless means empty, empty space. Viyat means space. So that remains. Now, why he is saying this? Shakyeshu badhideshwante shishyade yattadeva sat. Now, this space which is called Chitakasha. Now, this space remains. What remains as space? There is no object or objectification left. So, Shakyeshu badhideshu. So, when all the removables or what which can be removed, all that is removed once. So what remains? Shishyate. What is remain is yat tadeva tat. What remains after removal is that space, is that Brahman. Now this space is consciousness. Why it is consciousness? Why we bring consciousness here? Why we don't say space, only space, as the science says, physics says? That you see that just the tiny difference, very small difference between science and Vedanta. They also say the same thing. They say when when you remember all the forms and objects, there the endless space remains. Right? That's what they say. We say that's right. But when we remove all those, when we destroy all the objects, forms, the space remains. So now, if space remains, who knows that space? The remaining space is known by space consciousness. So what we say is, space is formless. Now space has no forms. That's right. Up to that point is science. Now we say, we know that you know and me know and all who studied science or this theory, they know it. The formless or objectless, materialless, manifestationless space remains. So that space has consciousness because we know that. So space consciousness, but for the sake of understanding, we can just call that point of understanding as space consciousness. It is formless, empty space consciousness. The formless, empty space is part of science knowledge, and formless and empty space knowledge or consciousness is Vedanta. So there comes the eternity of the being. And this eternity of the being was there even before the beginning of time. Even after the destroyal of all the distractions. This is what is eternal. So that eternity is also consciousness, the eternal consciousness. That is Ananda. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So eternity of the being, what is said to be Satyam. And that eternity was there even before creation and after the creation. Even before time. When we say before creation, it is before time. There was no count of time there. There was no calculation of time there. So creation now, creation before, and creation after. So now how can we define that being? How can we define that eternity which is beyond time, beyond even the beyond time? Means time has no existence in that point of, then how can we say, how can we define that being? It was there even the imagination of existence began. So that is the empty space of Vedanta. That is the empty space consciousness of Vedanta, which is eternal, infinite, so it cannot be destroyed. So it is always there. So why we bring the space here, just to understand, because the Acharya says here Vyat. It's just for just to understand, because the whole creation or all cosmos, we know that it is in space. So this is the rejection process. We will continue this rejection process or negation theory in another couple of shlokas. So when by the rejection process, there is no space, no even cosmos, object or anything. So what remains as space is called space consciousness. It is space consciousness is not space. That is the difference. The science says space remains. Only space remains. We say no. What remains is space consciousness. Space is not remained. Because we think space is not like that. This is the, as I said, very small difference. Because in science, if you deny space, they don't accept. They say, no, you cannot deny space. So in that, instead of directly denying space, we say what remains is space consciousness. Not only space, but space consciousness. So the space is not remaining as space. It is remained as space consciousness. So that is Shishyate Vyat. Now what is this space consciousness? Is nothing but Atma, as Atma itself. Because it is eternal. This space consciousness is there before creation of time and after the destruction of the creation. So therefore it is called space consciousness. So cosmic, we can call it as a, then in the second step it comes cosmic consciousness, then air consciousness, like that in different levels. So this is Akasha, Vayu and all these 5 elements. So today we stop here with this shloka. Hari Om Narayan.
Swamiji, there's a question. Yeah.
Hari Om Swamiji. So when we just tell about there is the witness, conscious space.
Space consciousness.
Without space.
Space consciousness.
Without space. So whether it is actually the same as the metaphysics, when we connect it, we are going beyond.
Yes, yes, that is what I tried. The metaphysics, what we say, uh, is like, it's not the same, but they're like little different. So what is connected with the space? If you know space as an object of cognition, that is space remains. Now the space without an object, it means the all the objects, cosmo objects, are eliminated or you removed from your mind. Mentally you removed it. Now what left over? So what left over, what remains is the space as consciousness. It means you know nothing is there.
Correct.
Okay. So that is
Yeah.
called space consciousness.
Yes.
It's not consciousness of space.
No. Yeah, correct.
No.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay.
And it was such a beautiful explanation. Even Sakshi also.
Yes.
Yes.
So contemplation, it's a very good for meditation and
Yes,
contemplation.
yes, very good. Everything.
It takes you, take your mind and no, intellect in a higher level. How we see the cosmos, how we see the creation from
Yes.
that point of view, from Atma's point of view.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Yes, Swamiji, there's a question now on the chat box. It's from Vishnu. Om, how can we verify that the intuitive knowledge we obtain is not conditioned by our mind, intellect, or ego?
Because we can simply answer this as intuitive knowledge is not directly connected to the thought formatting process of the brain. It's actually the base of thought formation. So what is in thought formation process of the brain can be conditioned in different levels. Therefore, normally our dream cannot be conditioned. There are techniques to make the dream, you have to practice, and even now nowadays they have some techniques to do, but normally we can't condition our thought dream state. So even the dream state cannot be conditioned, because dream state is it is connected to subconscious mind. It's coming from subconscious mind, or whatever is what we see. So therefore, is to understand what is intuition is also difficult, as I said, because intuition, if you say there is no condition, you may ask, how can you say that is not conditioned? Only by experience we can say that. So now, whenever we have some thought process, to identify in that thought, that particular vicharam, particular thought, how much intuition's part is there, and how much subconscious mind, and how much conscious mind. So to differentiate this, separate this, is very difficult. For that you must you have to study psychology, and especially with the Yoga Sutram psychology, because our Indian spiritual psychology is Yoga Sutra only. Yoga Sutra and Yoga Bhashya, the philosophy of Patanjali Maharshi. So if you study that, you will get many indications, many links to how to separate this. It's a long subject. Now I cannot explain it. It needs a long time to make it. Is with the instance and experiences, we have to separate it, how it happens. But it happens every day in our life, and it is there in every thought of what you think. So that is the thing like that. It's very interesting, but it's purely psychology. It's connected to mind and its function. Sometime later we will discuss, because we will discuss little more about this, and then sometime later, when we have something like that, we will again discuss this point.
Next question. Dhruti, would you unmute yourself and ask? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hari Om Swamiji, Pranam. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Swamiji, the interesting point that you mentioned earlier was about the imagination. That whatever we imagine already exists somewhere, and that's why we can actually imagine. So where did it come in the brain? So my thoughts were, when we have these practices of Raja Yoga, or meditation practices in Raja Yoga, we go through the visualization processes where we imagine X and imagine Y. Is this theory, is this understanding the basis of those meditation? Can we relate it like that?
No, I am not specifying anything like that, because to specify, I must know what you do, what are all those. But my general comment and thing on that is, whatever way, whatever we imagine, or it is there in the mind. It must be there in the mind, or some clue of that.
Yes.
That is why I used the word potentiality. So some potency,
Potential.
some program, something. So it may not be identified. If once it is identified, it comes under the category of memory, or under the category of intelligence, or like that. No, it's already, it is not.
Yes.
But it is
Yes.
unidentified. But it's there, then only it can come. So that is the
Yes.
point there. No, it's yeah, it is when we say, or when we practice this, taking each thought process, we will know how it functions, because everything is there in the mind.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that is everything is pre-programmed and accordingly you are doing. No, the pre-programmed part is different. You have your own free intellect functions, which we call no, in our shastras, purushartha. The willpower and your free will and all those. So these are all there, but the function of mind and intellect is already connected to this. So you are not creating anything new. So the new creation is almost impossible. Only you can newly create, or we can call it as a manipulation. No, it may be the right way. You can manipulate what is not there. So you cannot create something is already there. So that is the thing.
Yes. Yes, it's understood, Swamiji. Thank you so much. Thank you. Pranam.
Do we have time for one more question, Swamiji?
Yeah, we can take up. Yes.
There's a question from Shrija. Would you unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hari Om Swamiji. Swamiji, just now you were mentioning.
Yeah, please
is that,
switch on the video also. If you are questioning, yes, you are.
Swamiji,
Yes,
here
please go.
the bandwidth is very bad, so that is why I was switching off it. Swamiji, you were mentioning the existence of a parallel universe or parallel world in the human world itself. That is what you were indicating through even our dreams are. We can only dream those things which are already existing. Is that an indication of a parallel world? And one more question is, Swamiji.
No, it's not like something parallel world or like that. It is there means whatever you experience, even from outside world, what is the real world, what we call is the empirical world. So what we experience is also from that only. Because when we see some objects outside, according to our mind, according to our understanding, previous understanding, we see outside objects. So or the experience we get from that object or the sensual experience, so this all connected. The sensory of course experiences are all connected with our previous knowledge system. There is no second. There is. We don't say there are too many words, too many realms in our no experience. It's all interconnected. The experience of dream, of course, when the sense organs are not working, we are sleeping. It's a mind creating the creation of mind there. So that is there. So that the same mind is working with another objects when it is in waking state with the sense organs. So, but ultimately the experience and the effect of the experience is the same we get from all these experiences. Okay, thank you. So we conclude with this, contemplate on all these points because as you know, this part what we are discussing is very special and very deep subject and all connected to spiritual psychology and spirituality, what we call it as spirituality, related to spirit. So now we are relating ourselves with the Atma. So this is what we study in Vedanta. So contemplate on that and you will enjoy it. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರೂಜಿ.